Okay, Bridgerton season 4 genuinely broke me because I was not expecting to love it that much. I am not okay. I finished all of it and I just sat there looking at the screen even after all of the secret wedding that happened after the credits, just trying to process all of the emotions because of how much I loved it. And it was the season I was least excited for. So today we're going to talk about it, my thoughts, my feelings, what I loved, what wrecked me, and then I'm going to give you 5 romance books that hit the exact same tropes as this season because I know you need them. If you're new here, hi, I'm Francesca. This is Under the Covers, and we talk all about book recommendations here and some cozy hobbies. So when Bridgerton drops a new season, you know that we have to talk about it because I love historical romance. So quick heads up though, there will be spoilers for season 4, parts 1 and 2. So if you haven't watched it, go watch that, bookmark this, and then come back. We're gonna be here. So what are my thoughts for season 4? Overall, this season was chef's kiss. I don't know how you felt about it, but genuinely I feel like after season 3, which honestly it was fine, it was cute, it was all right, I didn't hate it, I liked it, but this one just really hit different because the tone was definitely more romantic. I think the pacing let the story breathe more. Yes, we still got some of the side stories, but it just felt like this really cohesive story and I just absolutely loved it. The acting was great as well, and it really felt like they really leaned into the whole fairy tale of it all, and I am definitely here for that. I loved every second of it. So let's talk about Benophie. Benophie. Obviously they were the main event, and I'm not gonna lie, I was not the biggest Benedict girly going into this. Like, he was all right in the first few seasons, but I was not obsessed with him. And then this season happened, and I guess I need to publicly apologize to Benedict Bridgerton because the man showed up. Now, he may still not be my favorite hero in this series, but he did the thing when it mattered the most. So I gotta give him props. I love that. I think that it felt really great for the story. Now, obviously, we're starting with the Masquerade. There is the longing, the Cinderella search, and it was really giving everything that it needed to give. I absolutely love that whole part of the story and how Sophie is kind of hiding who she is, and you know, she's just working for her evil stepmother and stepsisters. But genuinely, Sophie as a character, I loved her character and the actress as well that played her. The way she was navigating this impossible situation where she is falling for someone that she technically can't have, she knows that because of their class difference. It is one of my favorite tropes as well. The tension of that was so well done here. Loved it. Then, of course, we have the side storylines. We have the Francesca and Michaela storyline. That was definitely also an important part. And I know that the internet has a lot of feelings about that. And look, I'm going to keep it real. I was not sold on their chemistry in season 3. But now I can kind of see that, and I see them maybe working out. So I think that what matters most is whether the story they tell is emotionally compelling. I am not as fussed if they change the storyline. I know that that's going to take away probably an element that was very important in the books, but I am still very intrigued because of how their relationship and their chemistry worked out in season 4. So I definitely am ready to see them develop that more. Now that's where I'm at, but also I'm a little bit worried because I don't know if we're going to get a full season for Francesca's story. Maybe because we're getting kind of like a lot of the story as side stories in other seasons where there's other main characters. So I'm a little bit concerned that that's the direction it's going in, and I'm really curious to know if you guys have heard anything or what do you guys think. You know, let me know in the comments where you think that's going. I definitely would love to see a full season for Francesca's romance, but I don't know if necessarily we're going to get that the way it's going, but we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, the thing that genuinely surprised me was how emotional a lot of the scenes were this season. Some of the family scenes, like the Bridgerton sibling moments between Eloise and Hyacinth. There were some that, yes, it was like sibling bickering, which we've gotten some of that previously, but also there were some more emotional moments after John's death, even between Eloise and Hyacinth, and I really loved that scene and seeing them connect on a deeper level on something that had really true depth and meaning. And then we also get the Anthony and Benedict, and we're seeing 2 different sides of their relationship. Obviously, when Anthony is telling Benedict that he kind of has to not follow through with the love that he feels, and then him admitting at the wedding, which, I mean, the whole point that there was a secret scene after the credits kind of annoyed me because I didn't catch it at first, and then I went online and then I saw that and then I had to go back. and then see it again. And I really love that we got to see Anthony admit that he was wrong and that he should have told his brother to go for what he wanted and to be happy. So that I really loved. And also one of my favorite things was Violet and Benedict. So seeing that mother-son relationship, I definitely did not sign up for that level of emotional damage. And yet here we are. I love the connection that we got between those two. The similarities that Violet saw in Benedict and how that awakened something in herself that she thought that she had lost. And maybe that even played a role in her not getting her second happily ever after, because she is reconnecting with herself, that part of her that she lost. So I really appreciated that, because women in those times really did not have necessarily that opportunity. Plus, of course, we get everyone rallying around Francesca when John passes. And side note, for more emotional damage, Agatha and Queen Charlotte, their dynamic and friendship, yes, toxic and dependent and all of the things, but it really got to me, and I really love to see the connection with the Queen Charlotte season or slash show. But here's the thing. Watching this season made me really want to read. And my TBR is already out of control. You guys know that. We're not going to talk about that. So I'm going to give you 5 romance books that hit the same tropes as Bridgerton season 4. So if you love this season, and honestly, even if you didn't love this season as much, these are definitely for you. So we're going to start off with, in Bridgerton, we have Benedict, who's an aristocrat falling for Sophie, who's essentially a servant. The class differences of it all. But I wanted to give you a recommendation where we flip the script, and that is The Leopard Prince by Elizabeth Hoyt. This is part of her Princess trilogy, and yes, you can read this out of order. It's book 2. You should read the whole trilogy because it's amazing, but you can read this completely out of order. Now, in this one, it's the woman who is the wealthy one. Lady Georgina Maitland does not need a husband, but what she does need is a land steward. And that's where our hero comes in, Mr. Harry. And from the moment that these two meet, you just know that is going to be a problem, because there is so much attraction. And what I loved about this book, and I genuinely loved it, is that the heroes and the heroines in this whole trilogy are not your usual young debutante, beautiful, and the lords that love them kind of thing. Georgina is very outspoken, she's clever, and she is one of my favorite heroines, honestly. Harry is supposed to be plain and quiet, but he has this dry wit and this intensity about him that just makes him so sexy. I can't explain it. It's this quiet confidence, and I'm just weak for it. He is amazing. The banter between these two is one of the best parts of the book. The class divide, because she's the one with the title and the money, creates this really interesting tension, because normally we see it the other way around, especially in historical, and they are trying to figure out how to make this work when society says that it shouldn't, and despite also being complete opposites, they fit perfectly well together. Now, Elizabeth Hoyt, the writing is superb. The sexual chemistry, seriously hot. Highly recommend that book, but highly recommend the whole trilogy. You can't go wrong reading all of that, and you can't go wrong reading Elizabeth Hoyt. If you love the Benedict and Sophie class difference, this is your book. Okay, so now, if the Masquerade Ball and the whole hidden identity was your favorite part of this season, which, I mean, I loved it too, then you need to read Desperately Seeking Susanna by Elizabeth Michaels. So in this one, we have Sue Green, who just wants one night to be the pretty one. That's not usually her. So she puts on this disguise, has a few glasses of champagne, and proceeds to absolutely mortify herself in front of Lord Holden, like she actually kicks him. There's a high kick dancing involved, it's a whole situation, and then she blames it all on her alter ego, Susanna. So now Holden is obsessed with finding this mystery woman, and the only person who seems to have any answers is Sue, who is Susanna. But Holden doesn't know that. So I cannot tell you how much fun this book is. The interactions between Holden and Sue are just perfect. She is smart, she is feisty. He knows that he's all that, and he's a smidgen cocky about it, and he's determined to get what he wants. But the chemistry drew me in completely. Absolutely loved it. I also really loved this whole series. It is the perfect feel-good historical romance series. I was completely surprised when I loved the first book in the series as much as I did, but this second one absolutely blew me away. Yes, you can read it out of order or as a standalone. And I love this so much that I started this book late at night, could not put it down. I read until I had finished the last word around 3 a.m. and it's definitely worth the sleepless night. So if you love that Masquerade energy from season 4, this is the one. Okay, so if you watch Bridgerton and you're like, this is great, but I really wish that Netflix would just let them be more adults about stuff, you know, get a little spicier, then Stacey Reid is where you need to go. I'm going to recommend In Scandal with the Duke by Stacey Reid, which gives you that Regency setting that you're craving, but the heat is turned all the way up. This one is spicy. So in this one, we have Elizabeth Armstrong. She's an American heiress who is completely jaded by fortune hunters. She is done with the husband hunt. She is over it. She wants nothing to do with it. And then she goes to England and meets the Duke of Basil, who is her brother's best friend. He is a certified rake, and he has a rule against getting involved with debutantes and innocents. So obviously they immediately start breaking every single rule together, right? Now this is an enemies to lovers, kind of opposites attract, plus older brother's best friend, all rolled into one. It is so good. The tension between them is ridiculous. He plans to have this fleeting affair with her because she just wants to go back to America. He wants to enjoy the vibes, no commitments, no promises, but Elizabeth is way more alluring than he anticipated, and he's suddenly in too deep. So if you want the Bridgerton aesthetic, but you want more spice, then this is definitely going to be your book. And you have a whole series to dive into after too. Now the next trope is going to be a slow burn with a dramatic reveal. So buckle up, because for this one, the premise is absolutely wild. The book is The Earl Takes All by Lorraine Heath. So we have Edward, who has a twin brother, who is the Earl of Grayling. Now, Edward kisses Lady Julia one night in a dark garden, but she ends up marrying his twin instead. Then tragedy strikes, and Edward makes a deathbed promise to his brother to pretend to be him, the Earl, until Julia delivers her baby, his twin brother's baby. I know. Already crazy. I mean, it sounds like a vintage bodice ripper, but it was actually published in the 2010s. And I picked this up after Cheyenne recommended it when we were having a chat about vintage romance books that she loved. I'm going to leave that link so you can check out more recommendations. So Edward has always had feelings for Julia, always. And the guilt he feels, the genuine concern, it all gets tangled up together. And then he comes back as the Earl. Julia's close to her due date, so he can't exactly drop that bombshell on her that her husband is dead. And he has to pretend to be him. So the slow burn between them is just really sweet, really tentative. Julia keeps noticing that her husband has changed, that he's bolder and more daring, more wicked. She's falling deeper in love, and she doesn't even know that she's falling for the wrong brother or the right one, depending how you look at it. And Edward has to really struggle to be a gentleman while hiding his true identity and trying to be someone that he's not, who is actually a completely different person because, you know, his brother was different. And the prior connection, of course, between them adds so much more tension. You know, it makes the whole thing really believable and honestly kind of touching as well. It's a beautiful forbidden romance with sacrifice, and it's another book that I read in one sitting. It is that addictive. So if you love that slow burn, the emotional tension that we get in this season of Bridgerton, then The Earl Takes All, I think is going to wreck you in the best way. And the final trope here is going to be found family. My last pick is one that I am super passionate about because I just love the story. And it's Hello Stranger by Lisa Kleypas. There really isn't much I can say to express the feeling that you get when you open a Lisa Kleypas book. Everything around you like stops and you're transported to this beautiful place and time. And that is exactly what happened when I read Hello Stranger. It is about Dr. Garrett Gibson, who is the only female physician in England, and she is based on a real person. She is daring and independent, and honestly, I found her genuinely inspiring. I loved her character. And then there's Ethan Ransom. Ethan is a former detective for Scotland Yard who is gallant but also secretive. He's rugged, he's intense. I mean, I could sit here and wax poetic about this man all day. We would be here forever. She gets pulled into his most dangerous assignment. Things go horribly wrong, and suddenly it takes all of Garrett's skill and courage, and she has to save him and nurse him back to health. Now, here's what makes this book special and why I'm connecting it to Bridgerton. This particular book is all about found family. And yes, you have the Ravenels as well. They're all related. But the way that they bring in people into their orbit, into their family, and into the fold. They show up for each other. They're kind of woven into their stories. And that's what they've done for Dr. Garrett and Ethan. So while you do have the family dynamics as well from the Ravenels in a way, these two characters especially are made to feel like family. And I just loved how they're integrated to the whole core of the series and of that family. But really, it's not also just that. The research that Lisa Kleypas puts on about police procedure and medicine at the times, it comes through really naturally in the story. It never bogs down the book because it's just who, especially Garrett is, our female physician. The plot is full of mystery and intrigue, and it was just, oh my God, it was so good. I was holding my breath at some points. It was just an exciting ride. And the romance, I mean, Queen Kleypas, she delivered. I loved every second, every interaction, every word. They are two complete opposites and they're attracted to each other so deeply. Their relationship is just as intense as they are as individuals. So if you haven't read the series, rectify that immediately, number one. And Hello Stranger is proof that I think historical romance can be just as thrilling as a spy novel without losing an ounce of emotional depth or sensuality. Can you read it out of order? Yes. This is probably the easiest one to read out of order out of the whole series, but you shouldn't because the whole series is amazing. So I think you should read all of the Ravenels, although there is a recommended order for Lisa Kleypas books. I will leave that link down below. So I wouldn't necessarily tell you to start with the Ravenels, but you can start with this one as a standalone if you so choose. So those are my 5. Honestly, I could have done more, and now all I want to do is go read some Regency romance, but my TBR is probably crying for help. So I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I might. Let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of season 4? Did the show do Benedict justice? Did it change your mind like it did for me? And also give me all of your recs, because I am definitely going to be adding them to my TBR. I mean, that thing is genuinely out of control at this point. Now, if you want more historical romance recs, I have a ton more here on the channel and on the blog. I'm going to leave some links in the description box so you can check out more, and also I'm going to leave some linked right here. And don't forget that we do this every single week, so subscribe if you want more romance book content in your life, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!